One shot, one kill.
Fire when ready.
We're basically pinned down, and we're surrounded by snipers.
Oh, it's fine. It's about time I got.
I'm ramping up the offensiveness tonight to go with our feature film.
Well, we're fucking pinned down. Dealing with Platoon. This was a serious fucking movie. I don't think I didn't learn a goddamn thing about Sniper. Or I'm not sure if you guys agree on that, but I'm still glad we took this detour.
I didn't learn anything about. I don't think we learned anything about snipers watching Sniper either, though. But that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. Occupational hazard. So, yeah, Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
How many have you seen Platoon before? Probably a bunch of times, right?
100 times. 1,000 times. Me and Adam
I mean,
used to wear helmets and watch the shit in the living room.
That's right. I mean, you guys know my sick obsession with Vietnam movies, so yeah. It was good to revisit it, though. It's probably been about 15 years since I've seen it, to be honest. It was a different viewing.
Yeah, I think I've only ever seen this once before, but like,
What?
you know, it would be on television, and there'd be commercials, and like family shit's going on in the background.
You'd have to cut the whole fucking movie apart if you had that on TV.
That fucks me up big time.
Yeah, I never really this movie never imprinted on me because I never fucking sat down with it. And I fucking can't stand Charlie Sheen, and I think that was a thing.
That's
but watching
fair.
it, yeah, but sitting down to watch it now, I was like, holy fuck, this is surprise, this was a good movie.
This is a hard R.
Yeah.
This is a well thought of movie. I mean, this is a real 5-star war classic. Like, this has to be probably in the war genre. I would say probably a top 5, most important or must watch sort of.
Yeah, for fun, I went on YouTube and I started looking at top war movies of all times, and Platoon would come in on the bottom end.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I agree with that, because I think it, whatever these fucking top 10 lists mean or whatever. Yeah, I've seen a lot of war, all the movies basically that were on these top lists. I'd seen all of them. And yeah, anyway, so for whatever it's worth.
It's a different kind of war movie, though, right? I mean, I think what struck me when I watched it this time around, it's fucking sad. It's really sad. It was heart-wrenching at times. It's not talking about a big battle. It's not giving you a story in this historical, not historical context, but contextualize it in a Hamburger Hill. It's just 25th Infantry somewhere along the Cambodian border in 1967. Just kind of, cogging the machine or cogging the wheel kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know. It stands out from other war movies that I've seen because of that. And it's very personal too, right?
Yeah, and what the fuck are they doing out there? Oh,
well, this is supposed to be. Sorry, I thought this was. Who's the director again? I'm having a moment.
Oliver Stone.
This is supposed to be a sort of a little wink into Oliver Stone's tour of duty, isn't it?
Yeah. Because
I know it's not clearly it's a fiction, but I mean
It's not, but it's still autobiographical. Yeah, because he was a guy that he dropped out of Yale twice, and enlisted specifically to go to Vietnam and refused to take an officer rank. So all that shit that Charlie Sheen does at the beginning, that's kind of Oliver Stone, and he claims to have drawn from his own experiences, fucking killing people in the bush, and it really comes across.
Yeah, it's a horror show.
Yeah, yeah. But what Adam was saying is that it's this movie. So what makes it different? There's nothing heroic about this movie. What the fuck are they doing out there on that hill? Why do they have to hold that hill? What? You never get the impression that there's a value to what they're doing, and they're just doing it and they're just trapped not sleeping, fucking working constantly, and always in danger of murder, ambush, everything. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's sort of like, I mean, well, obviously it was done intentional, the way the story's told of like, what the fuck are they doing on that hill? But I'd imagine that's probably the soldier's perspective, right? Like, as the boots on the ground in the front line, like, you're not privy to the grand plan. Like, you're just told to hold that hill and stay there until you die or win. So again, like, it kind of, I think, puts the viewer really much into that, like, into the platoon. Even the opening scene, right? Like, you're arriving in Vietnam with Chris Taylor.
And it's just kids. It's just kids.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and body bags, dirt and dust, and like it looks shitty. And then you're along for the ride.
Writing letters home to Grammy.
Yeah. The big, like, one of the big things too that I noticed right off the cuff was the dialogue. Like, he doesn't pull any punches on the language through the entire film. It is grimy and realistic and grotesque. They have it cranked up to a point with the just the slurs and the innuendos and the swearing, just way out there. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it was. I've watched a lot of war movies, and there's some like this kind of hits home as feels maybe the most realistic in terms of dialogue, what it would be like to be, with a bunch of grunts, just the way they would converse regularly.
It is, I agree with you, but at the same time, like, there's all these forced dichotomies between the characters, like they form the different cliques. Like, there's the druggy clique, and then there's the beer alcohol clique, and they're all violent and hickish, and their conversations are pretty fucking aggressive. And then, and then you get, the drug clique, I guess they're basically doing opium or heroin. There's just different languages between the two of them. And I don't know. I wasn't fucking there. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's not natural exactly. There's still like unsurprisingly, like a drama, going through this, but it still feels pretty fucking real.
Well, it's a little like high school.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought it was.
Right? Yeah, no, that's fair.
Very
man.
high schoolish. Yeah.
Yeah. Because what do? You're just got all these men and you fucking put them in the fucking jungle. Yeah, it is very much like school, in that you don't want to go. Then you're just fucking stuck there.
And
when you get there, you're stuck with a bunch of animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I was reading that to prepare for the film, Oliver Stone made the entire cast do like 2 weeks of boot camp, and like serious boot camp, like dig your own foxholes. That's where you sleep. Like pretty much all the shit you see in the movie, they actually did.
Yeah.
And then the cast, like there was like all this tension because like he bred this between them. And then he was just like, no, perfect. All right, let's shoot. Let's go. And he went right into shooting after 2 weeks of boot camp. And he was like, from what I read, like there was a lot of tension between the actors, like a few really sort of blow ups between a few cast members and stuff like that. And like Oliver Stone, really? Was like, perfect. Like, this is exactly what I wanted because this is how it was, which I thought was cool. And a lot of the scenes too were filmed. Like there was some fuck ups in the scenes, and he just kept them because it was just like it worked perfectly.
Like when Red O'Neill's holding the lighter.
Yeah,
it doesn't light. I thought that was weird. Like I noticed it like during the film, and I was like, oh, they fucked up, and it was kind of like a scene from Saturday Night Live where they just like you could see them rolling with it.
Yeah.
It was cool. The guy who did the training, the Dale Dye, the name of the trainer, he played Captain Harris, the guy that calls in the airstrike at the end. Yeah.
Interesting.
Little bits of trivia there. Who did we? I don't know. Great cast. Who? I thought everybody did great.
But
I was
even
surprised.
Before we talk about the cast.
Okay.
Have you heard the Jim Morrison thing?
Oh no! Well, maybe I heard something about Jim Morrison.
So I read this on a website today, and I was suspicious, so I researched a bit more, and other websites claim this as well. So Oliver Stone finished writing the screenplay in '68. Sends it to Jim Morrison, asks him to play the leading role. Doesn't ever get a response.
Yeah.
It would have been a totally different movie. I don't know.
Very different movie.
I have no interest in that version.
Yeah, no. It would have been. I mean, it would have been a sight, maybe a spectacle.
Yeah, very super different movie. Like there wouldn't have been a budget. There were might not even have been in the jungle. I just don't see it working.
Jungle of your mind. Yes. So the cast.
Yeah. Like I was saying, like unsurprisingly, everyone in this movie's fucking dynamite. Even Charlie Sheen, who, like I was saying, I lost interest in him later as he became sort of walking joke. At about the time of Hot Shots Part 2, maybe.
It's fair. I didn't think that was gonna get brought up tonight. Yeah. No, he was great. He was young. Maybe he's hungry. He wanted to I don't know, stand out as an actor, and I think a lot of these young guys did at that time. Elias, Willem Dafoe was great. He's outrageous. I was rewatching a couple of his key scenes on YouTube before I came on here tonight, and there was a funny little comment under one of them that said that Willem Dafoe looks like he's 50 years old for the last 30 years.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all these guys
Tom
are
Berenger,
super young. And
Tom Berenger
not even well known. Oh god, the makeup on his face to give all those scars, and especially when he's like, "I am reality." It's a bad.
Yeah, that was a bad scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear about killing you, fucking potheads.
Oh yeah, when he's just sitting there with the bottle of Jack Daniels, and I forgot Johnny Depp was in this thing. I mean,
I saw him. Yeah,
role,
he's like 10 years
like,
old, carrying little refugees when they.
He's the translator, yeah. Gator.
When they.
Yeah, there's.
Was that the one after they burned the village? So I'm carrying her out.
Yeah. Also, terribly sad scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just this is one of those. It's a fucking horrors of war movie,
Yeah.
And it really lives up to it. Like and as an older person, who's had a job and faced anxiety in the world and shit like that, it kind of struck me more than any war movie I'd seen in maybe ever in just selling like how fucking pathetic it is. And I don't mean to take away from anyone's experience as a soldier. I just mean like it's pathetic to be in the bush like that and to be subject to the elements and constantly like this frightened animal. And then to survive the fucking so the Red O'Neill guy, he survives by putting that body on top of him, in the end bit. And he survives, and he comes out, and he's like, you got 2nd Battalion or 2nd Platoon, and he receives a promotion, but it's practically a death sentence, and his face just changes. And that's where we leave him.
He was blundering, and that was John C. McGinley, and he was he was just like, oh man, through the whole movie he was just like. He was shaky, like he didn't know what he wanted to do, and he was trying to stop Bunny in that fucking horrible scene.
Yeah, that was like the only scene you see like any like humanity from Sergeant O'Neill, right? Like he actually kind of looks scared and is just like, well, let's just calm down and forget about it. The rest of the movie, I find he's kind of kissing Berenger's ass.
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah, like he's this puppy dog that jumps around the big bulldog.
Yeah.
He's just frightened.
Yeah, he like just sees himself in that's like a survival thing, man. They're in the bush. He's supporting the alpha,
Yeah.
Like that's what all these guys were in there. It was like a pissing contest between two alphas.
Which I think is another thing that makes this movie, I'm like every movie's unrealistic, so don't get me wrong here, but like this movie's such a morality play between the good angel and the bad. You know, you term them as alphas, and there's definitely that too. But you know, this central drama of, you know, like of alcohol versus weed and militarism versus pacifism, or not pacifism, but I mean, I don't even know, because Willem Dafoe is a fucking excellent soldier in this and a murderer.
Third tour.
Yeah.
He loves this shit.
Right. And so, like, what's the difference between, like, what is the moral argument at play here? Like, what is it? If you choose Elias, what's better about that?
I think the point is that it's, like, for me, it was the view I had of Elias was that he's been here for 3 years. He's obviously seen some shit and killed a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But in this weird way, he's maintained his humanity. Whereas, or at least has tried to, whereas I feel like with Barnes, with Berenger, he probably checked his morality when he got off the plane and landed in Vietnam. Which I don't know, like, I thought about this a lot today, actually. Like, if I were in that situation, what would I do?
You'd be Bunny.
Yeah, like, I don't know, but, like, I think that, I don't know if I'd be able to try to, like, if I'd want to try to maintain humanity in war, because it's such a terrible, terrible thing. I think it would tear me apart. I think I just have to park what I thought was being a good human being for a while and just do what I had to do to survive.
You know, and that's what Charles ends up doing. That's what Sheen ends up doing, Taylor. But you know, and which maybe that's what kind of adds to, like, if the two choices you have is to be a killer with a heart of gold, let's say that's Elias, or just be like a fucking monster, but still be a killer. You know, but you're still choosing to be like part of the machine at the end of the day, you know, like, and that adds to, I guess, the somber note that this thing draws. You know, like, Charlie Sheen doesn't become a better person out of all of this. He probably just gets fucking turns into Oliver Stone, who's been busy, you know, with the rest of his life.
Well, you know, I think that they pushed a lot of the narrative to be that the pothead guys were like escapists. They were just like escaping into their drugs, trying to get out of reality or whatever, right?
But they're also
Tom gives the classic line, but I think that you know, maybe that's what they were going for, was that you could be a part of the, like a cog in the machine if you sort of checked your brain out, you know, if that's its own sort of dark narrative also.
Yeah, they're both doing it though. Like, what's the difference? And this is why I see the dichotomy between the two drug cultures. Like, you got your cigarettes and your beer and your hard, like, you know, like that's their dope. You know, so like there's no distinction between the two. They're both escaping from, you know, quote unquote escaping from reality. But on the one hand, you got guys playing cards and making fun of Jews, and then on the other hand, you got like brothers, you know, dancing together and laughing and you know, like celebrating, and so it really comes to, you know, like, yeah, it's pro heroin and pro marijuana at the end of the day, I guess, as something that allows you to, I guess maybe the premise is that you know, those things allow you to maintain your humanity while you're murdering people in the bush,
or while you're going to work,
or yeah, because you can't drink on the job, but you can maybe be high. You could just,
you know, after the fact, whatever, right?
Mm.
One of the other scenes that always resonated with me, I think probably since the first time I saw this movie back in high school, and it nothing to do with a battle scene, but just talking about the realism of the movie. It's one of the first scenes when they're sort of going through the jungle, and Charlie Sheen just starts to get like overheated and overwhelmed, and there's this high-pitched like screeching in the background, and these ants are everywhere, and he just collapses. I don't know, there's something about that scene that just like is so good it makes me uncomfortable, because you can almost just feel that like you can't escape and it's everywhere, like the jungle is like consuming him. I don't know, it always stuck with me, and it always just gives me a bad jolt.
Yeah, you're
It's
just breaking down. Like you're breaking down with them when you're watching it.
Yeah.
And because they're immediately talking about like you don't sleep, and all that stuff, and I think that, I'd already said it, but like as an older person, that really resonated with me. I was like, fuck, that must be that's hell, like that's what hell is to me. Living my comfortable life, I can't imagine being thrust into that and having to cope with it, and also being in this fucking weird, really masculine, aggressive culture, like hierarchical culture. It would just be like, yeah, like when people start crying, I'm like, yeah, I'd start crying too. I'd have a little cry from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
Even Tom Berenger has a cry from time to time in this movie.
Oh, they make such a big effort to make you uncomfortable, though. Like Adam, you're saying that, just like not just that scene, but like they push you to be like, to feel like extreme discomfort, like from scene to scene. Charlie breaking up the rape.
Or even the
Jesus.
scene just right before that, where he kind of snaps, like he's like had enough, right? And he's trying to get that guy out of the hole in the hut in the village, and he's just like, he's fed up, like that's what he said. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. And then he just snaps, like, and to the point where, like, it's weird because that's sort of one of the scenes where you get the two cliques coming together, right? You have Taylor, who is the pothead clique, and then Bunny's there, and Bunny's like, just fucking do him, man, fucking do it. And Bunny's got this grin on him that's just like, yes, like, I love this shit.
Yeah.
That's a tough scene to watch too, right? Like, it's
Matt Dillon fucking consistently grosses me out in film.
Kevin Dillon.
Excuse me. Yeah, Matt Dillon
that's fine.
Also.
The state. Yeah, thank you. The statement works for both.
It's a blanket statement for Dillon family.
Yep. You guys are disgusting. Anyway,
fucking cretins, man. Anyway, yeah. Oh, you see a fucking head broke open like that?
Yeah, I know.
It's
terrible.
And I just think about like war is later on in the story. He says like, I don't think we done nothing wrong, but I got a bad feeling. I talked to the Padre. I told him the truth. Like there's something in him, like, like we're meant to think that he kind of understands what he's doing is wrong, but at the other end, he just doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's like, we're all going to die, and we'll never know when it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that's the dark hole of humanity. Fucking that guy right there, like Bunny, is not like Barnes isn't the problem. Bunny's the problem. Barnes is a problem. Don't get me wrong.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. But I mean, like, of course he's drawn to Barnes, and of course, like all these, one of the things that drew some people to like ISIS or to be like a mercenary, or like they enjoy the knowledge that they can do whatever they want. They exist beyond the bounds of law, and have a gun in their hand, and the power to use it, and that's a genuine appeal for some people. And Bunny very clearly represents that.
I'm just looking at the quote right now, actually. I like it here. Get to do what you want. Nobody fucks with you. The only worry you got is dying, and if that happens, you don't know about it anyway. So what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, it's an interesting perspective he brings. Like, I can't really, like, again, like going back to the sort of what I said earlier. If I were in that scenario, I don't know if that could be the path I go down. Like, well, all I got to worry about is dying, and really, you're not going to even know if that happens anyway. So,
I don't even think you'd know. I don't even think you could say what you would do, really. Unless you were in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a totally fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the movie is kind of it does so many things. This movie is constant. Like there's themes running in and out. It's really rich, but it does meditate on this idea of like later on. So Charlie Sheen, he freezes, and everyone gives him shit, and he ends up going to the hospital, and then afterwards he's talking with King, David Keith. And if I remember correctly, that's when David Keith's like, fuck all that. There's no cowards here, or cowardice doesn't mean anything here. And it's just like everybody understands that you're here just to survive. You've been drafted. The only one stupid enough to have chose to be here is Sheen, and everyone else is poor, marginalized, and sucked up by the draft. And so they're the real loose morality, just in general.
Yeah.
Because fuck this. I think that's what makes it worse, though. Like because that's something that's missing. Like you couldn't say that about the Iraq War, because it's a volunteer army at this point. And there's something especially horrific about Vietnam and earlier wars because of the draft, because it's also it's a true representation of government authority
and how the draft
force
works.
Projection. Yeah,
who the draft basically targeted. It's.
Everybody's taking a moment to have a drink.
Yeah, just had a rip on my light beer. Actually, I was just thinking about the greatest draft dodger of all time while we're on the topic.
Oh, who's that?
The piece of shit racist grandpa.
Okay. I guess he does.
El Presidente. Yeah. He's a big, fat, fucking larva piece of shit.
Vote early, folks.
Yeah.
Jeez, this has been a public service announcement. We interrupt this talk of Platoon. Bill Clinton too, right? Or did he do some shit?
Oh, I don't know. They're all rich fuckers.
Was he in the bush?
Did any of them go? If they did, they got fucking cherry picked and fucking put on helicopter radio duty or some shit. I think George W. went, but I mean, fuck, what did he do? I'd take the Pepsi challenge on whatever he got posted as. Fuck.
Yeah. I'll fucking do that. I'll do that right now. Give me 4 years of that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, these fucking pricks. I mean, I guess even JFK. I mean, at some point, to be the president, I think you did need to be involved with war. I don't know. Maybe only Eisenhower or fucking... Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know.
What, do you got a favorite character in this story? In the platoons?
I do.
Go, yeah.
I'm going with King myself, Keith David.
Ooh,
really
enjoyed pick.
Really enjoyed him.
It's that silky smooth voice. He'll just
man.
Yeah, just the voice of Spawn.
We just watched the Princess and the Frog, actually.
Is he in? Is he?
Nora Thurling. He's the voodoo man, man. He's fucking,
okay.
He's basically a living meme right now, man. Won't you shake a poor boy's hand? He's good, man.
Oh, this took a turn I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't watch enough children's programming. Don't know.
Yeah, you can skip it.
Adam, who did you?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Elias. I think Willem Dafoe plays an awesome character in this movie. I like that how he. I just like how he is a leader. He's calm around his men. He hangs out with them. He's in that little opium den, just chilling.
Eating a banana.
Yeah. All glassy-eyed. And also, that was a cool scene too when he was like, "Put your mouth on this," and just puts the barrel into Taylor's mouth.
Yeah.
And I just like how he really seems to want to teach the new guys the ropes, right? Even that first ambush that they have. So Taylor, and then there's the big guy. And he dies, and Elias makes this really passing comment to Barnes, if you would have given him 2 more days, he might have learned something and been alive. He genuinely cares about the well-being of his squad, whether new guy or seasoned veteran. And yeah, I just think it's a breath of fresh air in a movie that is just otherwise really, really dark in terms of human nature and in war.
He gives you your first like relief from the anxiety from your opening scene that you like too, right? Where he offers to carry Charlie's stuff, right?
That's a really good point. Yeah, and he offers to carry it. He's like, you're humping too much stuff. Check in with me next time. I'll take it for you right now. That's huge. I don't know. It's good to see a character like that in a movie like this.
And it kind of, he's the closest thing you're going to get to a hero in this story, and we've already kind of touched on it. But he's like, he's like a spirit warrior, in the middle of horror, like just watching him run through the jungle and fucking just firing and being like this expert killer. But he kind of also, like, he sets up, and I don't know if it existed before this, but I'm thinking like Thin Red Line. He's basically the Jim Caviezel character.
Yeah.
This thing about like the spiritual man in the war kind of becomes a thing.
Yeah.
After this, it's fine. It's interesting. I think it's maybe a testament to how cool Willem Dafoe is in this. I think I also got to pick Willem Dafoe, but at the same, like, I don't know, Tom Berenger is so fucking cool in this. Fucking Scarface and all that talk about I am reality, and like he kind of is.
He's the most. That's scary. Yeah. But he's the most memorable part of the movie for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. His lines are great too, and the way he delivers them, and I think I said this on the last time you guys had me on for Sniper, but he delivers his lines with like this angst and this condescending tone, where I'm just like, and we've said this before, I think too, like Tom Berenger has always kind of been like that mean dad, right? Like, and I feel like that sort of persona carries into the Barnes character as well. He's brilliant. He's great in this movie. Like, he's really, really good.
Yeah. I think like imagine a movie where Willem Dafoe and Tom Berenger aren't, the two angels or the two sides of this, you really need two characters that can like play off of each other, and seem like equals. And the show does a really great job of that. Like they're both, I don't know, what do we want, like strategic war masters, who can fucking get the job done. But
he's the best supporting actor for that.
Oh, really? They were nominated. No, they were, like, you're talking about like the Oscars? They were nominated. Both of them were nominated.
Yeah, Tom Berenger was nominated for best.
No, and Willem Dafoe. Both.
Was he? Wow.
Yeah.
They won Best Picture and Best Director.
Yeah, and sound editing and a bunch of other stuff. Which that goes a long way. Like this movie, like the music, the sound, like when Charlie Sheen, getting back to that, when he freezes, he's got the little hood over him, he's got the ants on his back, and like the music's just like just the intensity's building. It's practically like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And then he's looking at the weapon and he's not doing anything with it. He's not setting off the claymores. Like a lot of work is done with music in this movie, and like just silent scenes of just looking at stuff.
Yeah, like the when the betrayal of Elias.
Oh yeah.
When he comes out of the bush and they both have weapons trained on each other, and he sees him and he just smiles and drops his guard, and Barnes just stares at him, and then you don't see the smile drop. Willem Dafoe has the biggest, most expressive face, and they don't show the smile drop off his face. They show only his eyes. And you see the smile go from the eyes and turn into like pure shock, and he knows that he's gonna shoot him.
Yeah, and yeah, that's worth £1 million. Like that's like, it's stuff like that. There's so many things come together to make this movie fucking sing. And yeah, it's all, I guess, Oliver Stone's eye. He knows how to look at stuff. I can't say that I haven't watched, like, I've seen, like, what Oliver Stone movies. I've seen Natural Born Killers.
Oh,
I've seen like I've never watched JFK. Surprisingly,
with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I guess so. I just
I just don't have any desire.
Kevin Costner was actually pegged to have the lead role in this movie, and he turned it down.
Yeah, good move.
Like, I mean, I've seen Scarface and Doors.
He only wrote those though. Yeah, with like Born in Wall Street, Born on the 4th of July, Talk Radio, Doors. Okay, The Doors. I've seen Doors. That's a good movie. But like really, like so much of his catalog, I have not watched.
Yeah,
Oliver Stone had something to do with Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, he wrote it. Yeah, he wrote the script.
What?
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, like there's a couple people that did that, but he was definitely involved. Yeah. Well, he knows all about war, right? You know what is best in life. Ask Oliver Stone.
I'm not like a big Wall Street movie guy, you know.
Yeah.
People versus Larry Flint. I've seen. That's fabulous.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
That's not his though, is it?
Apparently,
he's involved in. Oh yeah, no, he's the producer. No.
Oh, well, you know what? Whatever. I'm going
wait.
too deep into his filmography here.
Yeah. It's something about the guy. I love this movie, and it's making me think that I've been sleeping on Oliver Stone. And I know I'm going to be disappointed when I try to discover otherwise.
You start firing up like Shia LaBeouf Wall Street movies, and you're going to be like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I'm going to try to watch any given Sunday, and I'll just be like, fuck, why? And this is 3 hours long.
I mean, I think this is his high watermark. I've seen a few Oliver Stone movies. I can't think of them off the top of my head right now because that's the impression they've made on me.
Yes, right?
But you know, like...
Yeah, he had a little hot moment there, 85 to 92, maybe, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, any movie I've ever seen. I think I've seen JFK like on TV or something like that. It's a good story. Like he tells a good story. But like I said, obviously it's not that memorable because I can't even rhyme off the other movies I've seen by him. This definitely my favorite of his movies, though, for sure. This is really well done.
Yeah. I didn't want to like take us too far off the beaten path, but it just occurred to me that like it like because some people have a first album. I use this analogy a lot. I borrowed it from a friend of mine. They have their first album or maybe their second album, and then they're great. Those are the magic albums for them. And the rest after that, it's just diminishing returns. Like you can see the artistry. There's some of that sparks there, but for the most part, they're just like craftsmen at producing work, but they it just never quite comes together. I'm kind of curious about Wall Street. I think me and you are gonna watch Wall Street, James, at some point. Yeah,
buddy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you watch a YouTube assortment of Shia LaBeouf videos.
Terrible.
Yeah.
You guys don't like to see somebody turn insane for real?
What do you mean? You mean
Shia's
like
got
Shia
fucking mad? Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't like when they made what was that tank movie with Brad Pitt? Fury? What was that thing? Yeah. Like he fucked up his teeth for real to make that, to like do that role, I think. That's a little too much for that movie. That was not worth it. So
I think he was going down a hole. Yeah.
Say that again.
I don't remember him being in that. Wait, he was in that movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. He was.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so make that all the more pathetic that he altered his body for the movie, right? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he did like he plagiarized like fucking Chester Brown comics, and yeah, he's just off the hook, but not in a good way. Not in the way that
doesn't he have?
Go on.
Like I'm pretty sure he just wanders around this little neighborhood and like barefoot and stuff, and he's covered in tattoos, and he just says like maniacal things to anybody who will interview him. And I'm sorry. He's really gone. Like,
you're describing a real thing on YouTube.
Not just there's like a million of these interviews. Yeah, you can go watch this guy and what he's doing in real life right now. He's gone, man. You can't cast him in a movie. He's out to lunch. I think he might have bit off more than he could chew on heroin and just kind of not come back from it.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna ask it's because he played Joker, but that was Jared Leto.
Yeah, it wasn't even him. Yeah.
Might as well.
Jared Leto did a bad job though. That's why he's still okay.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, those are the facts.
Not even giving Jared Leto the time of day for that shit movie.
You know what? He doesn't want to bring up fucking Jared Leto.
Yeah. Last time we saw Jared Leto. Unless we want to talk about Blade.
We favor Shia LaBeouf more than Jared Leto.
Hell yeah.
I think we do. Yeah. That's Extinction Agenda guarantee certification.
Yeah. No. 100%.
Yeah. Do we got anything else on Platoon here? I know it's off the beaten path of Sniper. It's going to be weird to go back to Sniper now, like especially Sniper 2. It's going to be really
not
jarring.
Going to be an issue. Not going to be an issue for me at all.
Yeah, not for you. It'll be return to comfort zone for you, if anything.
Oh, nice. Get right back into nestle in with some more fucking
morality
Billy Zane.
of war, humanity. Yeah. What's this shit?
Yeah.
I don't like too deep a narrative, you know.
I don't know. I think it hedges around like the Sniper 2. If I remember correctly, it's like Berenger. He's turfed out, and the vets have screwed him over, and he does like training, but they need the best sniper they can, so they drag him back in. So
absolutely. I mean, hey.
Back to that's realistic. That's good. Look out, Oliver.
All in all, good movie. I always apply this test to war movies, and James, I don't know if you remember this, but this is a long time ago, and you told James Sullivan and I that war movies are one of two things. They're either like a deep, meaningful movie, or it's just a bunch of dancing and choreography. And yeah, no, and I get that, right? Because it's like a shitty action war movie is just a bunch of guys dancing around like they're being shot at, and there's no real story to it. It's choreographed. It is literally dancing. This is not dancing to me. This was actually a good story with like some deep messages and some meaning to it. So that's my take.
Yeah. Where does it? This is a stupid. This is one of those pointless questions, but maybe it'll spark something. Apocalypse Now or Platoon?
You know what? I'm more of a Platoon guy. I like Apocalypse Now. I think it's special, but it's almost like Requiem for a Dream-ish. And I give Requiem for a Dream a little too much credit the last couple times. I've mentioned it twice, I think.
I started rewatching it. It sucks.
I guess
really.
I think it might have just touched us at a formative time.
It's the Clint Mansell album, like the soundtrack that drives all the anxiety that made us think that movie was good. Fuck. Excited. Yeah, fucking garbage. Anyway, a little side bit for everyone.
I'm gonna change that example into just like an overall feeling. The really spiritual hallucination type of thing, like the 2001 Space Odyssey, the Apocalypse Now. I like it for what it is, but I mean, like in terms of like a pure war movie that was really like sort of like upsetting your thought train and taking you down a real dark path. I'm with Platoon still, but
that's fair. Okay, go on, Adam. Sorry.
No, I think I agree with you, and it's tough for me to do that because I've always been a huge Apocalypse Now fan. Probably one of my favorite movies. But then just rewatching Platoon, I don't think I had that gut-wrenching feeling that I had last night watching it that I've ever had watching Apocalypse Now. This definitely struck a chord with me much more than Apocalypse Now, for sure. So yeah, I'll say like if I had to pick between one or the other, it would be Platoon.
Yeah, interesting. Platoon is definitely putting the two side by side. Apocalypse Now is revealed to not be a war movie. War is a setting. It's where the drama, but ultimately it's about something else, which is totally different from man's inhumanity to man and all that shit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Apocalypse Now just because I'm an artsy fella and that's always gonna interest me more than rewatching Platoon. But I do think it's a superior war movie for whatever that's worth. Sticking to the subject of explore, putting you in the hell of war. Platoon all the way.
Yeah, to your point, maybe, and I've always kind of had that sort of view of Apocalypse Now too. The war component of Apocalypse Now, that's the background music to the story, right? Whereas for Platoon, that music is being blasted in your face, and you're being told a story within that sort of that context. So yeah, it's hard. I guess it's hard to compare the two in that sense.
Yeah. I thought it was like I said, it was a silly question because it's kind of an apples and oranges thing. But I think it helps. I think it helps draw out what is unique about Platoon. It manages to be artsy, and it manages to have a moral point. I already said, I'm not sure who wins in the end, and what Charlie Sheen becomes. But there's still some art behind all of this, and and they're still pulling shit out to burn as part of a disciplinary punishment or something like that. You still get to see the day-to-day ditch digging and all that stuff. Anyway, James, what do you give it?
Oh, are we doing 10 or 5 stars?
Well, yeah, let's go with 5 because I think we can handle it. I think this can hold a 5 star.
I get
within.
Sure. I don't know if I'd give it 10 out of 10. I'd probably.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do 10 then.
I'm thinking more of an 8.5, 9 out of 10. I think a 10 out of 10 is a very serious thing.
You know what's sorry? This is my it's kind of related and it's kind of not. When the bit of trivia that I loved the most about this movie, the biggest flub, is when Willem Dafoe is getting shot up at the end, and he's running, and there's that iconic scene of him stretching his arms out.
It's epic. Yeah.
He's supposed to be. If you look at him, you can see him squeezing a trigger on his hand, which is supposed to be causing blood to explode from his chest. And you even see the wire and stuff, but it's not working. And so,
I read that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And
is that why he was convulsing?
He was supposed to be. Yeah, he was supposed to be having been shot a bunch of times, but none of the blood was ejecting out. So yeah, it looks so awkward. Doesn't take away from the movie. I just wanted to bring it up before I gave it a rating.
Wow, that's a nice find. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that again with critical eyes and not love my moment again.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I don't. I guess it's funny. We're talking about how this is the best war. I gotta kind of give it an 8 too, and I'm not sure why though. And I'm not sure what 10 fucking means. I maybe the commitment of 10 is too much.
Inglourious Bastards.
That's a 10. That's a 10.
Tenner.
Yeah. And also I think because I really liked this movie, but I don't know if I'm ever going to rewatch it. Maybe 10 years from now I will. But I didn't have it.
That's starting to be my watch range.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
I'm not every 5 I get sort of squirrel around back into the top war movies again and go, oh, maybe I'll do that.
Right. Addykins?
I'm glad you just called me that. Thank you very much. I think I'm going to give it a 9 again. Like you said, some real, I can't quite put my finger on why I don't want to give it a 10. It's good. It's really good. I can't really point to any glaring faults with it. Yeah, sure, there are some things that are wasn't a super fan of, but yeah, no, it's a good movie. I don't know why I wouldn't give it a 10. I just, maybe it wasn't something that I just...
Is there something about production value?
That
brings just a little bit of a B feeling to some of it,
I mean, the budget was,
I think you're
pretty
right.
low.
I don't know, but they pulled off. I mean, they pulled off they pulled off a miracle of a classic war movie here, like one of the best of all time. But I know what you mean. There's something.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna offer a suggestion on why. Like when you're talking about the B qualities, like I'm thinking about when bullets are flying and stuff like that, and it looks like the Autobots are fighting the Decepticons.
Like the red glow. It's like
I don't
know about
every
that.
time one of them fires a weapon, it's like a cap gun, kind of.
Yeah,
like
and
shitty-ass
even the
sparks
explosions.
flying out.
The explosions have this weird like twang to them too. So I mean, I get it. It was made in what, like 86?
Under really trying conditions, but.
And their budget was really low. Like I'm trying to see what it was, but it was like $6 million. Like,
okay.
I mean, granted it was 86, but still. That's,
Yeah, but I mean,
no, but you're going over to the Philippines. You got to set up camp.
You pulled in a great like classic American cast. Like there's the Candyman's in this fucking movie, for God's sake.
Who's the Candyman?
Oh, you don't know the Candyman?
No. Which character is the Candyman?
Hang on, let me find him.
You mean like from the horror movie Candyman?
Yeah, he's Warren, Tony Todd.
Okay.
A young Turk.
I don't think I've ever seen Candyman, so that probably slowed you down.
You can skip it.
Yeah.
It's maybe the worst horror movie of all time. Makes Friday the 13th look real scary.
Right. So there's something about it. It just doesn't quite. I don't know. They did the best they could with what they had, and they fucking knocked it out of the park. But at the same time, I just don't love this movie, and maybe that's it. Like, I think that's a 10 for me. Whatever's a 10 for me, I gotta not only think that it's art, it has to. I just gotta kind of love it, and be. Like a movie like this is gonna reveal a lot about me. Like, you put Seven on right now. You put Seven on right now, and I'm gonna fucking watch it. Put it on tomorrow. I'll watch it again. There's just something about it that I'll never tire of. Well, maybe not. I've never watched it like 30 times in a row. But
let's start.
Anyway, yeah, that would be a little. But I fucked her. Ugh.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean, though. It's like a great movie. We can all agree it's art. We can all agree it's a fabulous triumph. But like, am I gonna fire this baby off in another month and be like, time for my Platoon viewing? Yeah. No, I don't. And maybe that's not even fair to the movie, because maybe you just don't want to get taken to fucking Nom once a month.
Yeah, that'd be my objection to watching it once a month for sure.
All right. I've been there, and the movie, people who watch it talk about this. It is actually, and I watched Ebert and Siskel and Ebert's review of this on the YouTube, and they talked about, they gave it 4 stars. It's great. This movie, best of the year. Blah blah blah, and they were like, I've never been to war. And I don't condone all the shit that I saw on the screen, but this movie was, it helped me to understand how these things could happen, and how it was like there, and this this movie, this is, everybody knows this. This is the movie that, like, this is when we start to talk about war in film, I think, like, to really kind of look at it. And it kind of, like most of Oliver Stone's films, I'm thinking of JFK, like it's both illuminating and corrosive. I think this begins, his work is part of a trend in American culture of beginning to distrust government, to destroy the myth of war, and on the face of it, those things are very good, but taken to extremes, you know, getting back to the election coming up, you end up with racist grandpa. And I'd hate to lay that at the feet of Oliver Stone, but I'm gonna.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
No objections? Yeah.
No, I can't.
No.
Fuck
No.
all of a sudden. I know you
Yeah.
did.
Illuminating and corrosive is, I think, is my favorite quote of the whole podcast. That was well pitched.
All right. All right, so next month, Sniper 2. We're going to go back to our original project. We're going to watch Tom Berenger transform into, I don't even remember the guy's fucking name. What's
Killing
his name?
Machine. Staff Sergeant something. Gunnery Sergeant.
Well, I can't even remember his goddamn name. Gunny.
Gunny.
Yeah.
Missing one fucking important finger.
Yeah.
Does Billy Zane bow out of the second installment?
I think so, yeah. I think there's...
He's like, I'm too good for this. Comes back for Choreography.
Well, he thought for a little while, like, he was a heartthrob, right? Like, he had a bit of a career. Like we all watched Demon Knight.
He flew from, like, Sniper straight to the fucking Titanic and thought that he was hitting it out of the park, and then everyone got sick of his fucking eyebrows.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, Daddy's hungry. Need some food."
Sniper 3's there. Slide me that script.
It's always fun to get behind the guns and send some rounds down range.